It's my very great pleasure as Dean of the Faculty of Law to welcome you to the 2015 Law Student Awards. This evening we celebrate our best and our brightest, our students who have excelled over the last 12 months. We'll recognise our student leaders, we'll congratulate the students who have won our competitions and have represented the Auckland Law School nationally and internationally. We'll mark the achievements of our students who have won prizes and scholarships, and what we'll find is that they all have in common is hard work, commitment, perseverance, and a real interest and enthusiasm for the law. I'd like to welcome all the students here who are receiving awards. You've done well, and the members of the faculty here tonight join me in congratulating you. I'd like to welcome your family and close friends who are able to be here this evening. Our students here tonight wouldn't have achieved their success without your support, your encouragement, and your love. You can be very proud of all they've achieved and in knowing that you made and you helped make their successes possible. I'd like to welcome many of the individuals and representatives of firms and organisations who've donated prizes and scholarships for our best students, who've supported our student societies in the events and the competitions they organise, and who've given financial assistance to the law school and what we are trying to achieve. We are immensely grateful. The prizes, scholarships and donations that you provide mean a lot to our students. They recognise their hard work, the hours spent in libraries, staying up late before exams, seeking to master particular cases, legal principles and areas of the law. This is a very successful law school. We are very proud of our students, and we are very grateful for the support that many of you here tonight have given. I'd like to welcome members of the legal profession and the judiciary who are here tonight. We have judges who have sat in or are currently sitting in the District Court, the High Court, the Court of Appeal and the Supreme Court, and I thank you for being able to attend. We're very grateful for the support provided to us, not only in financial terms, but also by helping and mentoring students, adjudicating moots and competitions, and supporting student and faculty activities. We have two young lawyers here tonight who were prize and scholarship winners a few years ago, and I'm pleased to welcome Hamish McQueen and Benedict Tompkins, who have both recently been offered full scholarships for postgraduate study at Harvard, Cambridge and Oxford, and now face the difficult choice of deciding which of those quite good universities to attend. We have another student who's unable to be here tonight, Finn Lowry, who's currently travelling in India, but is going to Oxford later this year on a Rhodes Scholarship. He's the third Auckland Law student in the last 4 years to win a Rhodes Scholarship, which means that this one law school has in fact won a quarter of all Rhodes Scholarships awarded in New Zealand during that time. This year, as well as Hamish, Benedict and Finn going off to pursue postgraduate law, we have other Auckland Law graduates going to study at the Universities of Toronto, New York University, Pennsylvania, Cornell, Harvard, Leiden, Cambridge, Oxford, London School of Economics, among others. And I'm very sure that some of the students receiving awards here tonight will also do incredibly well, continue to do incredibly well, and have those same opportunities in due course. The format of tonight's awards ceremonies will be that we'll present the awards in the groups that are laid down in the program. So I will ask each group in turn to come up and to line up on the left-hand side of the stage here in the order of the program that their names are written. When I call your name, if you come forward, and I suppose that's a chance once I've called the name for people to recognise the achievement by applauding or hooting or singing or whatever else you want to do, but recognise the achievement as the person comes up. I will shake the recipient's hand, and at that point, if you then go on to the Associate Dean Academic, Stephen Penk, who will present the certificate, but then if you could stay on the right-hand side of the stage, and so if everyone in that group could stay, and then at the end of that particular group, we would do a group photograph so that you have something for posterity to remember this grand and illustrious occasion and to prove that, yes, you really did get an award. So wait in the group, as I say, we'll take the group photograph. I suppose that's another occasion to recognise the achievements of that particular group. And as you exit, remembering that there are several stairs to walk down, so not having had too much of the wine that's provided at the table in order to achieve that relatively simple task at the end. But once you walk down, you will see that there are copies of Emeritus Professor Brian Coote's book, Learned in the Law, which is a history of the Auckland Law School, laid out on the table on the other side of the stage. And if you haven't already got a copy, you're very welcome to take a copy of the law school history with you as you leave. You're not to take multiple copies and sell them, because we're in fact giving them away for free, which means there's probably not a great market. While we all want to know the history of the Auckland Law School, the average member of the public is not yet so enlightened as to wish to do the same. I'd ask the students who are in the program as student leaders to please come forward and to line up on the left-hand side of the stage at this point. This part of the program is really thanking those students who have volunteered and been elected to take leadership in all sorts of areas around the law school. So I'll be thanking some of the executive members of the Auckland University Law Student Society, which is one of the most active and successful law societies in the country. It organises a wide range of competitions, seminars, workshops, sporting, social events. I'll also be recognising the presidents of Te Rākau Turi, our Māori Law Students Association, which provides a very real sense of community and support for our Māori law students. Just to give one example, every year they organise an annual hairanga to schools in different parts of the North Island in Fusing, and informing a whole lot of school pupils about why they might want to come and study law and to come to university. I'll be recognising the leaders of the Pacific Island Law Students Association, who provide community and support for our Pacific Island students. And again, just to give one example of the work they do, each year we send around a dozen students, a dozen of our Pacific students, to present research at an academic conference overseas. And last year, about a dozen Pacific Island law students went to an academic conference at the National University of Samoa. We'll be recognising the leaders of Rainbow Law, which provides community and support for our lesbian, gay, bisexual and transgender students. This was a group officially launched last year by Justice Michael Kirby, one of Australia's best-known judges. We'll be recognising the directors of the Equal Justice Project, which over the years has involved many hundreds of our students providing free legal assistance to individuals and organisations in partnership with community groups and the legal profession. The editors, or the editors-in-chief of the Auckland University Law Review will be recognised. This is an entirely student-run law journal, and the amount of work they do, reading, editing, and publishing a high-quality journal all around their academic studies is incredibly significant and well done. We'll also be recognising the leaders of the other law review. So this isn't the one that involves the prestige journal coming out. This is the one where a large number of students take to the stage every year to sing, dance, satire and lampoon various aspects of the law and society. And I saw that from one of their recent shows, one of their video clips got 2 million downloads on YouTube. And I imagine that's probably more impact than most academics at the law school can't quite claim that 2 million people read their esteemed writings. So again, a good way of promoting some aspects of the law school. And finally, we'll be recognising the leaders of the Mooting Society. This was established 2 years ago to encourage and promote mooting at all levels. It has 650 law students have joined it this year. It set up a new competition last year, the John Haig Memorial Moot for 3rd and 4th year students, which attracted 32 teams. This year, it's out to establish a new competition for 1st year students, for which the naming rights, I may say, are still available. We have one of our student leaders unable to join us, Connie Bolin, the competitions officer and a director of the Singing and Dancing Law Review. But would you please congratulate and thank our Law Student Society President, Ben Kirkpatrick. The Law Student Society Administrative Vice President, Rebecca Bremner. One of the Educational Vice Presidents of the Law Student Society, Nick Fenton. The other Educational Vice President and also a Director of the Equal Justice Project, Rehan Langdanga. The other Competitions Officer, I mentioned the first one wasn't able to be here, Milan Jurek. The Ko-Tumauki of Te Rako Turi, Christopher Carrington. And also Ko-Tumauki, Angeline Nelson. Co-President of the Pacific Island Law Students Association, Toiva Hitala. Director of Rainbow Law, Matt Denton. And also Director of Rainbow Law, Rekha Patel. Editor-in-Chief of the Auckland University Law Review, Kit Adamson. And also Editor-in-Chief, Sam Jeffs. The other Director of the Equal Justice Project, Alana Colley. The directors of the law review that gets the 2 million hits, Jamie Crosby. And also Ben Gregson. Anna Harris. And James Tobies. They've got a lot of singers and dancers to coordinate, so there's a lot of them. Co-presidents of the Mooting Society, Andrew Grant. Well done, Andrew. And Tia Nelson. Could I ask the winners of the Auckland Law School and national competitions to come forward to the left-hand side of the stage, and the international competition representatives I'll bring up as a separate group after that. The students coming up now have won the internal Auckland Law School competitions that we have, and we have an enormous number of students compete every year in witness examination, in negotiation, in client interviewing and mooting. Mooting, for those of you who haven't come across it before, is a mock court case on a point of law. So in some ways it's the closest experience to appearing in court to argue a legal issue. And we have quite a number of mooting competitions as a result. I'd like to very much thank the law firms who sponsor these competitions and who support the costs of sending the law school students who have won the internal law school competitions and the law firms who pay the costs of sending them to the New Zealand and also to the Australasian competitions. So we have the two students who won the Bundle Finlay negotiation competition. Firstly, can we congratulate Josh Baxter? And also Hamish Saunders. And the students who won the Russell McVeigh client interviewing competition, firstly Jack Davies. And Callum Rose. We had students compete in the Minter Ellison Rudd Watts witness examination, and one of our students went on to represent us and won the New Zealand competition for witness examination. Please congratulate Sam Jeffs. And another of our students went and represented us in the Australasian competition, and against the 40 universities there, won the witness examination competition and the shield. Would you please congratulate Marcus Fail? The winners of the Brian Schenken Family Law Memorial Moot, firstly Ian Coe and Rachel Peters. The winner of the Gina Rudland Prize for the top mooter on legal Maori issues, Christopher Carrington. And the winner of the Pacific Lawyers Association Prize for the Pacific Issues Legal Moot, Samuel MacDonald. And our students who won our junior mooting competition and went on and also won the New Zealand junior mooting competition, firstly Ed Foley. And in absentia we have James Penn. The winners of the John Haig Memorial Moot for intermediate level mooting are firstly Matt Budler and Tia Nelson. We have two senior mooting competitions, so these are the most difficult and the most complex of our mooting competitions, incredibly competitive. The winner of the Meredith Connell Greg Everard Memorial Mooting Competition, Caitlin Hollings. And the Stout Shield competition, the two best placed mooters win Gary Davies Memorial Prizes, and the first of those is Danielle Houghton. And the other person who won a Gary Davies Memorial Prize but also won the Geoffrey Powell Prize for the best mooter in the Stout Shield, Aidan Lomas. And can I ask students who have represented Auckland at international competitions to please make their way to the stage? As you may have surmised from the previous awards, Auckland won 3 of the 5 events at the New Zealand Law Student Competitions last year, so again won the shield for the top law school at that event, which is a real tribute, I think, to the teams and the competitors, but also it's a tribute to the help that is given and the assistance that's given by so many practitioners, judges and mediators in judging practice rounds and helping coach the teams that go through to national and international competitions. I'd like to first congratulate the law students who won the Global Microfinance Case Competition in Melbourne against 110 other teams. Daniel Herring is absent, but please congratulate, firstly, Richard Belcher. And also Luke Strom. The next 2 students were the Auckland Law School representatives in the Red Cross Asia Pacific International Humanitarian Law Mooting Competition. They were coached by Trussa Dunworth and they ended up the runners-up in that competition. So firstly, if we could congratulate Alana Colley. And Jack Davies. The Philip Jessup International Law Moot Competition is held in Washington, D.C. each year, and Auckland has won the right to represent New Zealand at that competition for 7 of the last 8 years, and to win that right you have to win the New Zealand Law Mooting Competition first. There were 200 teams at this year's Jessup International Law Competition. Our team ended up ranked in the top 25%, and 2 of the team members were ranked among the top 100 of slightly more than 2,000 speakers in the final rounds in Washington, D.C. I'd like to very much thank the New Zealand Law Foundation for funding the team, but could we congratulate firstly Caitlin Hollings. Daniel Houghton. and Aidan Lomas. Thank you. Sally Wu was another member of the team unable to be here, and the team was coached by Carolyn Foster, Anna Hood, and Isaac Kakaka, so I'd very much like to thank them. The last of the representative teams I'd like to congratulate tonight is the team that represented us in the Wilhelm Wyss moot for commercial arbitration. And that moot was held in Vienna. And like the Jessup team, they had to put in months of work for the written memorials beforehand, practice rounds, and then travelling overseas. It's the hard part of it, going to Vienna to compete again against around 2,000 students from about 300 universities. Our team reached the elimination rounds, which meant they were ranked in the top 32, and 2 of the team members were ranked in the top 50 speakers of around those 2,000 speakers competing. They also, for the Wyss team, there's a whole lot of pre-moots where you go and warm up, if you like, for the Wyss moot itself. It sounds like a really good deal to me, because our team went to several continents for pre-moots, and they actually won the pre-moots in Budapest, in Romania, and reached the finals of the pre-moots in Shanghai, Heidelberg, and Brussels. So in fact, they either reached the finals or won most of the pre-moots that they took part in. But nevertheless, a great achievement, and doubtlessly a great trip. I'd like to thank not only the law faculty for funding the team, but the business school, which also contributed, Minter Ellison, the Auckland District Law Society. You can see why we need so many sponsors for a trip of this nature. Bankside Chambers, Shortland Chambers, for all of their contributions to the team being able to take part and to do so well as they did. But could we congratulate, firstly, Matt Budler. Jack Davies. Oh, already here. Jack, as you can see, is a mooting fanatic. Although I think he wins a few prizes later, so he obviously doesn't neglect the studies either. Michael Grenup. Anna Leonard. And we have one member, as I mentioned, Finn Lowry, who's the student I mentioned earlier, who's won the Rhodes Scholarship to Oxford. But he continued travelling after this, so he's still in India at the moment. But as the coaches, and they did an incredible amount of work with this team, if we could thank Thomas Clark, Campbell Herbert, and Nupur Upadhyay. Would the winners of the new entrant prizes please come to the stage? The winners of the new entrant prizes all receive a book token, and I've just learnt we've forgotten to bring the book tokens with us, so apologies for that. But you will receive the book tokens and be able to buy, Stephen Todd's new book on legal method, or one of the other great academic works that have been published by our faculty. These awards are given to school leavers, and they are incredibly competitive, because all the school leavers applying to come to this law school are eligible to apply. And given that we have around 1,400 students who do first year law, you can imagine that to win one of these 24 prizes, or one of the 9 new entrant scholarships, these are students who've done incredibly well indeed. So could we congratulate firstly Emma Barnes. Alice Buckley. Dilshin Dayanaki. Patricia Ferreira. Tina Few. Daya Gasson. Alexia Grindle. Alicia Imran. Elise Johnson. Cade Kennedy. Waylin Isabel Quick. Jan Lim. Lena Loa. Daniel Meyer Gant. Georgia Osmond. Penelope Ping. Diana Chu. Jessie Rao. Romina Solani. Congratulations, Romina. Thanks. Lucy Very. Congratulations, Lucy. And Wen Yu Yu. Congratulations. Very well done. And would the recipients of the new entrant scholarships please come up to the stage? As I mentioned, there are 24 new entrant prizes. There are 9 new entrant scholarships. These are worth $1,000 each, and the students who have achieved them have had to get really stellar results at school. So certainly I hope the scholarships will encourage them to continue to do well. As I mentioned, we start off with around 1,400 students at first year law, but then we moved to only 330 students at second year law. So really all of our students who come through have to be very high achieving, but it does mean that these students hopefully will have a fairly good chance of continuing their academic success into the future. Would you please congratulate Vincent Curd. Congratulations. Michaela Dempsey. Elizabeth Gasper. Babish Kapadea. Anna Makiso. Anuja Mitra. Elizabeth Scott. Jenna Tay. Fintan Walsh. And again, from our lineup of our top new scholars, I'd expect we're going to have a heck of a lot of female judges and female law partners into the future. For our guest speaker tonight, I'm very pleased to be able to introduce Professor Ron Patterson, who not only is the Ombudsman, but just as importantly is a professor of this law school. Professor Patterson has a postgraduate law degree from the University of Oxford, but he first studied law here at the Auckland Law School. He was a person who, just like the students tonight, was presented with prizes and scholarships. Not least, he shared the prize for the top undergraduate student of his year with Mike Taggart, who also went on to be a professor here. Ron has combined his academic career with public service. He spent 10 years as New Zealand's Health and Disability Commissioner and made an enormous impact on healthcare quality, the regulation of the healthcare professions, something of vital importance for all of us. He is the co-editor of the leading text, Medical Law in New Zealand, and he also wrote, when he stepped down as the Health and Disability Commissioner, he wrote his book, The Good Doctor, What Patients Want, because of his concern to make the law and the legal issues he deals with accessible to the public and to bring about change that would not only benefit the medical profession, the hospitals, but also the patients and ultimately all of us. Ron has now been the Ombudsman for almost 2 years, during which time he's been doing the same in this role, the essence of which, of course, is to investigate complaints brought by members of the public against government departments and agencies, including health boards, schools, and even universities. It's a role in which the Ombudsman is charged to look out for the public and to speak out for the public, and we are so very proud that one of our own law professors is holding that role on behalf of all of us. Would you please welcome Professor Ron Patterson.
Ngā mihi mahana ki a koutou katoa. Talofa lava. Dean Stockley, award winners, family, friends, colleagues from the law school and the profession. It's my privilege to offer a few reflections as we celebrate the achievements of the top Auckland Law students for 2014. First, let me add my congratulations to the prize and scholarship recipients, the mooting and competition winners, the student leaders gathered here tonight. Well done on your award. For most of us, prizes do not come easily. They are the culmination of a lot of hard work and determination. Take a moment tonight to, and in the days ahead, to thank the family and friends who supported and encouraged you through your studies, to the lecturer, the supervisor, the tutor, the mentor who went the extra mile. Your success is also a tribute to their efforts. Last weekend, I dug out the law school handbook for 1978, listing the 25 award winners for 1977, my final year as a student. All that happened was that there was a page at the back of the handbook and a $20 cheque in the mail. A far grander occasion tonight. A couple of things struck me, not least the absence of any Maori, Pacific or Asian names. Some scholars on that list were clearly destined for great things, notably my good friend Mike Taggart, who later won the Cleary Memorial Prize for the person admitted as a barrister and solicitor who showed the most promise of service to the New Zealand legal profession. Mike was the outstanding law graduate of our generation. He described himself as a simple, common lawyer. He became an internationally renowned administrative lawyer and a much-loved dean, teacher, colleague and friend to so many of us. Other classmates did not appear in the 1977 awards list, yet they were destined to make significant contributions to the legal profession and to public service. I think of Dale Clarkson, the first of our year to be appointed a judge in 1989, barely 10 years out of law school, District Court Judge and Family Court Judge, and now Chair of the Lawyers and Conveyancers Disciplinary Tribunal, before which I hope none of our prize winners will ever appear. Mark Cooper, environmental lawyer and now judge of the Court of Appeal, and of course the Chair of the Canterbury Earthquakes Royal Commission. Paul Heath, insolvency lawyer and High Court Judge. And Cheryl Gwynn, Inspector General of Intelligence and Security after a distinguished career at the Crown Law Office. I doubt that many of my classmates had a smooth and steady climb up the rungs of the legal profession. It doesn't work that way. The job market was tight in 1978, as it is again now. Cheryl's first job was at the Wakatu Freezing Works, where she worked for 6 years as a freezing worker in the Hawke's Bay. That tough environment helped give her and well outside the privilege of the professions, helped give her the toughness and resilience that she needs now in keeping the NZSIS and the GCSB in check on behalf of all of us. Jobs in the freezing works are harder to come by these days. But you have a wide range of career options before you, armed with a law degree from Auckland University, with the bonus of a prize on your CV. The job possibilities for you here and overseas are almost limitless. My own career is an example of how you can chart your own path, and purely because the Dean did ask me to do this, I'm going to tell you just a little bit about it, and more specifically about how my Auckland degree helped me. If you're open to new experiences and if you're willing to step outside your comfort zone, you can enjoy a fascinating career. I took to the law slowly. I felt a strong pull to study medicine, and I never imagined at the time that it would be possible to combine my interests in law and medicine and carve out a novel career. In retrospect, I can see that the signs were there. I wrote an essay in family law on consent to medical treatment of minors, which won the Auckland Medico-Legal Essay Prize. I think it may have been the only entrant, and was my first publication. So my first piece of career advice is to follow your heart. Having returned to the law school as a lecturer, I watched with great interest in 1987-1988 the unfolding of Judge Sylvia Cartwright's inquiry into the non-treatment of women with cervical carcinoma in situ at National Women's Hospital. And so I started the teaching of a course in medico-legal studies at Auckland in 1990. I think we have 70 or over 70 in the elective this year. And I started teaching, researching and writing in the area. And this led me into the world of health policy and management, and a series of well-disposed deans, of whom Andrew is the latest, have been kind enough to give me leave to take up opportunities in health and public administration. So I was variously a contracts analyst in medical surgical services and mental health services policy manager, later a Deputy Director General of Health and Public Health, and as you've heard, Health and Disability Commissioner, our National Health Watchdog. My law degree equipped me well for these tasks. Mooting competitions gave me confidence in public speaking and advocacy, though Mike would want me to tell you that we were knocked out in the first round of the stout competition. Skills in drafting, which I put to use in helping draft New Zealand's innovative code of patients' rights. Skills in dispute resolution. Of course, at that time, we didn't have the courses that you now have in mediation and dispute resolution, which I was able to use in my role as Commissioner and indeed now use as Ombudsman. And in the Health Commissioner role, with a steady flow of complaints, the ability to develop the law in fields as diverse as the rights of patients waiting for access to publicly funded surgery, through to follow up the doctor's duty to follow up test results. When you think of it, a High Court judge may wait years for the opportunity for a test case to come along. And some memorable experiences along the way overseas, including appearing as an expert witness at the inquiry into Harold Shipman, the general practitioner from Hyde, Manchester, who practiced undetected for 2 decades and killed up to 260 of his patients. I also had the opportunity to chair a review of safety and quality in the Australian health system. So my career in health has been interesting and rewarding. I used my degree and followed my heart. Along the way, I think I've learnt more about health than I could ever have learnt in medical school. I've done my bit to improve the health system, and I had the great personal and professional satisfaction in writing a book about doctors and patients. My second message to you is that the prize you win tonight may tell you something about yourself that you don't yet appreciate it. At the end of my first year in law school, I was surprised to be awarded the Butterworth's Prize for Legal System and Constitutional Law. I had enjoyed statutory interpretation with Jim Evans, but I had found constitutional law tedious. Little did I know that one day I would occupy a constitutional role in which I spent a lot of time considering the lawfulness and the reasonableness of the actions of government agencies in fields as diverse as conservation and customs, education and health. Our Chief Justice, Sean Elias, talks about the Ombudsman as being an example of life beyond legality, and I'm enjoying the creative potential of the role. One of my favourite pastimes is running. and tramping rather. I've walked the Routeburn track 4 times, and I've run it 1 time on a concession. Little did I know that one of my first major cases as ombudsman involved the Routeburn track. A complainant challenged the lawfulness and reasonableness of DOC's decision to grant a private company a concession allowing them to take overnight guided walkers on the track, a concession that was 66% above the limit that had just been imposed in a national park management plan for Mount Aspiring that had been 2 years in the making. The ink was barely dry. Law takes you into diverse areas. I had to read up the National Parks Act, the Conservation Act, conservation management strategies, national management park plans and so forth, before concluding, as I did, that DOC had acted unreasonably and that their justification for exceeding the limits was, as I put it, nonsense on stilts. DOC is now reviewing those plans and how it grants concessions for the whole country. And even though the issues and the numbers were small, in a broader sense, it seemed to me, for those of us who care about the conservation estate and for those of us who care about the rule of law, it was a case that mattered. My third and final message draws on another personal story. In 1979, I was in Papua New Guinea rafting down a river that no one had ever rafted down on an international expedition. I was shortly headed for Oxford on a postgraduate scholarship, and one of the leaders of the expedition, Captain Jim Masters, said this to me. "Ron," he said, "you have been given wonderful opportunities. You will need to find ways to give back." The same is true of our award winners tonight. The real challenge for you is how to find ways to carve out for yourself a professionally satisfying career and to serve our community. I wish you well. Kia ora koutou katoa.
We now come to the winners of the undergraduate prizes and scholarships, and because of the number and my fear that if we tried to have them all for a single photograph, the stage would collapse, perhaps if we bring forward to the stage all of the undergraduate prize and scholarship winners up into and including the Meltzer Mason Heath Prize. So if you would come forward now. After first year law, our students embark on the core law compulsory second year subjects. So this is where they come to grips with some of the major conceptual thinking in law. They deal with contracts, torts, crimes, land and public law. And after they have completed the other compulsory subjects, so equity, jurisprudence, they move on to be able to do around 10 or 11 elective courses before finishing their degrees. And because of the size of this law school, the number of faculty members, we're able to offer the largest range of electives of any of the New Zealand law schools. So for quite a number of our courses, you'll see that we have scholarships and subject prizes, but given that we're offering about 50 electives a year, I suppose I would say there is the opportunity for any of you here tonight who want to give us more scholarships and prizes, even though it might prolong next year's ceremony somewhat. I would just mention the prize has been awarded in absentia, and I do so really because I do want to acknowledge the firms and the individuals who've donated the money for those prizes, and if I don't mention them, they won't get that recognition. But in absentia, the winner of the A.J. Davis Scholarship in Law, the LexisNexis Prize in Land Law, and the Sir Alexander Johnston Scholarship in Law is Linda Sullivan. The winner of the Baldwin's Law and Information Technology Prize is Jennifer Vickers. The winner of the Thomson Reuters Medical Law Prize is Tanya Young. The winner of the Minter Ellison Rudd Watts Auckland University Law Review Legal Writing Prize is Rachel Bailey. The winner of the New Zealand Society of Notaries Incorporated Conflict of Laws Prize is Nikolai Santamaria. One of our winners of our Chapman Tripp Iwi Governance Scholarship is Taria Nafika. The winner of the David Mummery Memorial Scholarship for Part 2 students, one of the winners is Anita Hu, and one of the winners of the Davies Sproul Memorial Prize in Family Law is Jaden Houghton. So I'd very much like to congratulate those students and the firms and individuals that have given those awards. And could we now congratulate the winner of the A.J. Park Intellectual Property Law Prize, Megan Lim. We established last year a new course in aviation law and are very pleased that Air New Zealand agreed to fund that prize, and they funded it in quite a novel way by giving, I understand, the next two winners actually got awarded free trips for them and someone else to the South Pacific on an Air New Zealand flight. They could choose any destination, so these are good people to get to know. The first recipient of the Air New Zealand Aviation Law Prize, but also the winner of the F.A. de la Mere Memorial Prize for the Best Part 3 Law Student, Taylor Burgess. And also winner of the Aviation Law Prize, Nicholas Porter. He's off to Fiji, so not too bad. The winner of the Auckland Women Lawyers Association, Margaret Wilson Scholarship, Rez Ricardo. The winner of the Auckland Women Lawyers Association Writing Prize, Alana Colley. The winner of the Brookfields Lawyers Scholarship for merit in Part 2 of the law degree, and also winner of the Marilyn Eve Mayo Endowment Scholarship for a Part 3 student, please congratulate Matthew Teehee. Winner of the Chapman Tripp Iwi Governance Scholarship in Law, Ricky Tawini. Winner of the David Mummery Memorial Scholarship in Law for Part 2 Law students, Anna Zam. Winner of the Davies Sproul Memorial Prize in Family Law, and also winner of the J.P. Campbell Prize for Best Work in Final Year Electives, Ye Miao. Winner of the Desmond Lewis Memorial Prize in International Law, and we have two winners. Firstly, Caitlin Hollings. And also winner in International Law, so not surprising these two both went to the International Law Mooting Competition, Danielle Houghton. The next award is for the Erica Pabs Scholarship, which honours the life and vision of a former teacher by supporting students who will give back to the community and show commitment to justice for the weakest members of society. Please congratulate Ria Pereira. The Judge Karina Williams Scholarship for a Maori law student, Philip Winiata. The winner of the Lalu Ram Sharma Prize in Pacific Legal Studies, Grace Abbott. The winner of the Leader Prize in Negotiation, Mediation and Dispute Resolution, Samuel Johnston. The winner of the LexisNexis Prize in Land Law and the Wynne Williams Prize in Equity, Jack Davies. The winner of the Lowndes Jordan Prize in Corporate Legal Studies, L. Crump. The winner of the Maritime Law Association of Australia and New Zealand Prize in Maritime Law, Taylor Gray. And the winner of the Martin Finley Memorial Scholarship for a Part 3 student, Jung Hu Kang. And the winner of the Meltson Mason Health Prize in Company Liquidations, Thomas Ashley. Congratulations. So hopefully we'll fit. And could the winners of the other undergraduate prizes and scholarships come forward to the stage together with the winners of the postgraduate prizes and scholarships as well. And I suppose I can say a few words about our postgraduate program because we run the largest LLM program in New Zealand. Each year we're offering on average around 25 different courses that can be studied for a Master of Laws, and we have more postgraduate law students at the University of Auckland Law School than at all the other New Zealand law schools combined. But if we start with the Meredith Connell Criminal Law Sentencing Advocacy Prizes, and sentencing advocacy is a compulsory competition which is run for all criminal law students, and they have to do that as part of that core compulsory course. Would you congratulate firstly Andrew Bester? Ross Frank? And Natasha Hall? Fiona Newton? Lydia Torse? And Lydia Wilson. And the winner of the Meredith Connell Prize in Corporate Finance Law, George Rowe. The winners of the New Zealand Law Review Prizes, and these are the prizes for the best results in first year law. Would you please congratulate Callum Burnett? And the next recipient is also the winner of the Thomson Reuters Prize in Torts and Contract, Bridget McClay. And also a winner of the New Zealand Law Review Prize for First Year Law, Rebecca Scoggins. Winner of the Robertson's Prize in Insurance Law, Rosa Palashik. The winner of the Shortland Chambers Prize in Public Law, Grant Delisle. The winner of the Simpson Grierson Employment Law Prize, Richard Monagatti. Winner of the Simpson Grierson Rainbow Law Prize for contribution to the LGBTI law school community, Adelaide Dunn. Winner of the Thomson Reuters Criminal Law Prize, Sebastian Hartley. Winner of the Thomson Reuters Prize for Civil Procedure, firstly Tobias James Gibson. And Benjamin Hollier. And the winner of the Wilson Hull Prize in Commercial Law, Amy Christensen Misa. And I'll hold the postgraduate winners while we, I suppose, one more photograph of the undergraduate. Now, we don't have nearly as many awards for our LLM students, so again, I hope tonight will encourage some people to think, well, there's real opportunity to contribute something to the law school by giving us a prize or scholarship for some of our postgraduate students. But again, they have done incredibly well. In absentia, I will mention the winner of the Gaze-Burt Prize for Master of Laws specialising in commercial law. That was won by Anne Willey. But if we could congratulate the winner of the Ellen and Virginia Green Prize in Environmental Law, and also the Fowles Memorial Prize for the top LLM student, Philippa Norman. And we also have awards for new students joining the LLM program, so again, very competitive to win. So winner of one of our Faculty of Law LLM awards, Anya Lang. I think this is one of our smaller photograph groups. Would the winners of the Faculty of Law Dean's Academic Excellence Awards please come to the side of the stage at this point. These are awards given at the end of the undergraduate degree, and they're given to people who have been ranked in the top 10% of their graduating class across the university. As I mentioned earlier, we graduate around 300 students a year in the law school. So these students have done incredibly well to be ranked in the top 10%. In absentia, we have Manya Tandon, but would you please congratulate Sarah Alawi. Mary Brecken. Anna Chilton. Georgia Chetwin Talbot. Dong Yuing Jenny Chung. Victoria Clark. Adelaide Dunn. Callum Hames. Adam Holden. Suzanne Innes Kent. Daniel Kelly. Ian Coe. Dino Miret Begovic. Elizabeth Ogle. Marie Roberts. Heather Rogers. Benedict Stewart. Cholji Wu. Yaojia Chung. And I think, again, just like the start of the degree, there's quite a lot more women who've succeeded well at the end. And would the recipients of the Senior Scholar Awards please come to the stage? These students won Faculty of Law Dean's Excellence Awards, but they have also, in addition, won Senior Scholar Awards, which means that they are among the very best students in the university. We only give 10 of these awards in the law school, so these are the top 10 of the 300 graduating. In absentia, we have Tessa Hocking, but could we congratulate Julia Adams? Thomas Ashley. Samuel Bookman. Taylor Burgess. Ye Miao. Christopher Powles. Rosa Palashik. Sarah Price. And Lisa Small. And the very last award of this evening is the one that Professor Ron Patterson won in conjunction with Mike Taggart in his year. This is the Auckland District Law Society's prize, and this is for the top law undergraduate. So an incredible achievement. Would you please congratulate Taylor Burgess? I think that Ron Patterson said that in his year there were 25 people who received awards for scholarships and prizes. I think this year I haven't counted, but we have slightly more. But again, I think it is a sign of the way in which our law school is flourishing, the intense competition to get into second year law in this law school, and then the incredible achievements of our students in terms of their academic subjects, but in terms of the way in which they take part in national and international competitions, the way in which they give service to other students, and organise all sorts of events and activities that help make this law school a really vibrant, exciting place where we have students who not only do well in learning the law and wanting to come to grips to the law, but also display their enthusiasm for what the law means and what it could do. So I'm really pleased we're being able to celebrate the achievements of our students this evening. On behalf of all the members of the faculty, I thank you very much. I thank all of you who've contributed towards the prizes and scholarships that we have been able to award. But again, there's an opportunity, obviously, to congratulate those that you know. But on behalf of the law school, thank you very much for joining us this evening.